It appears that Steve Harvey's karma is catching up to him, and it works through his ex-wife, Mary Shackleford, who gathers evidence against her treacherous ex-spouse and wants to expose how not only he stole their son, and bodily he stole their son and bought his loyalty, but also used her in order to go from rags to riches. Well, their divorce was messy, and while Harvey is already happily married to another woman, Mary Lee swore to devote her life to looking for justice and bringing her child back to her life. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel. I keep my eyes on the most discussed events in show business and always bring you the hottest updates. Celebrity divorce is always a big source of discussion, but in most cases, the emotions die down a few months after it's done. Well, it's apparently not the case of Steve Harvey and his ex-spouse Mary Lee, because mark my words, this lady is coming to get everything her ex allegedly stole from her. And while Steve tries to hush the scandal using his money and influence, this only means one thing: the juicy details are well worth our attention. Well, we all know Steve Harvey as a person with great wit and humor, but according to his ex-wife Mary Lee, there is nothing funny in her life after the separation from the comedian. As Mary Lee stated, he left her emotionally shattered and broken inside, and apparently he was planning to get rid of her all this time they had been together. With new shocking revelations about what was happening behind the scenes of their separation and why she cannot let it go after 2 decades, Mary Lee confessed that Steve ruined her life by taking the most valuable thing in her life, her son, Winton. Now, the woman is being vocal about Steve's atrocities and lies as she is seeking justice. According to her, Steve basically kidnapped their kid and forced him to choose his dad, even considering the previous history of alleged abuse. It turns out that Steve is just a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he used Mary for gaining success and wealth, and left her with nothing without a single drop of remorse. Well, this is a side of Steve that none of his fans is aware of, but as Mary Shackleford ex-Harvey states, this man is a user, and he was waiting for the right moment to toss his loyal first wife and reunite with the love of his life, Marjorie, who is now reigning the Harvey empire along with her king. What Mary finds the most despicable in this story is Steve's false claims about love, while actually he was cheating on her all the time and couldn't wait to put a ring on Marjorie's finger. After discovering the letters exposing Steve's affair, Mary decided to be vocal and share her side of the story. She also said that Steve would abuse her and their son a lot, which made the house a living hell. Apparently, Steve didn't want such inconvenient truth to come out, and he used his power and money to legally silence her. As Mary Lee stated, "I'm tired of getting pulled down to McKinney Courthouse every time I say boo. I'm not going to be silenced." Well, not only she's been vocal about Steve's atrocities, but she also claimed that he used her to get famous, only to break up with her several years later, at the peak of his career, and marry his longtime mistress. Mary Lee accused her ex of sneaking around with Marjorie and other women throughout the entire marriage, claiming that this woman only wanted him when he became rich and famous. Well, Steve and Marjorie actually married quite rapidly, and they quickly merged their families, which was another blow for poor Mary Lee, because all she wanted from her ex is a bit of respect for everything she had done for him, because she had lost everything after their separation. As Mary Lee claimed, Steve made sure that she was left with nothing after the divorce, and the comedian used all his connections to manipulate the court and take their son Winton away from her. Steve received primary custody of their 13-year-old child, and Mary Lee has been devastated ever since. The odds did not fall in Mary's favor in court, and she lost custody of her only son and also witnessed her ex-husband twisting the truth in order to win the case. Apparently, the mere thought of the justice system being bribed by her powerful ex left her shattered, and she couldn't even scrape enough money to continue fighting for her son. And although it's almost impossible to ruin Steve's image and reputation with one person's statements, many people seem to believe Mary Lee and her story. As one person said, "Based on the timelines and all the different information I've heard about Steve and his relationship history, he clearly used Mary to come up and had no intentions of staying with her." And some people believe that Mary Lee never stood a chance against her ex because he can buy everything and everyone, including the judge. Look at what this person wrote. Steve has money. She doesn't have the means to fight back. He clearly used his money, status, and power to desecrate this woman despite her best efforts. We all know that money speaks louder than the truth in this world any day. Steve is also very manipulative. Well, Steve's influence is big enough to put a stop to everything he doesn't want to be publicly exposed and sweep everything undesirable under the rug. And if you think that winning the custody over their only child was the only thing, well, Harvey, along with his new wife Marjorie, sued Mary Lee for defamation in 2007, stating that the YouTube videos she had posted stained their reputation. Mrs. Harvey posted a series of videos that included excerpts of letters and emails between Harvey and his current wife, Marjorie. In the videos, Mary Lee described the early years of their relationship as a financial struggle in which she supported his comedy career by sleeping in their car as they traveled from job to job. And apparently, With money and success, their marital life didn't become better because Mary Lee claimed the atmosphere at home was far from being positive. She accused Steve of beating Winton when the child was only 11 years old. Allegedly, Steve severely punished his son for lying about a homework assignment. As it was reported in the media, a filed police report stated that photos of Winton's bruised body were taken. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services took on the case before closing it. As a result, Steve was not charged, and Winton remained in his care, which is probably why he's in so good relationship with him and is distant from his mom. So Mary was stripped to motherhood, and Steve basically was raising their son from that moment on. And contrary to his ex-wife, who couldn't afford the same level of luxury as Steve, he was basically buying his son's love with expensive gifts. A few years after the divorce, Mary Lee created an account on Twitter and shared her only post there, which read, "I am sick and tired of Steve Harvey, his lawyers, and being abused. My son wants to come to see me, and his dad won't let him." Well, by what it looks, Mary has always acted like a concerned mother who was missing her son and was dreaming of reuniting with him. Many parents would completely understand and share her position because nothing stands between a loving parent wishing to hug his child. But apparently, with her social media activity, she violated gag order, which was the part of the divorce between Harvey and her. Because of all her claims, she ended up spending 30 days behind the bars, which of course was another stain on her image of a caring mother. But everything she could say again in her defense that she was simply trying to see her son again. According to her statement after the arrest, she would go at any lengths to compensate for all those years she missed with her child, and no matter how much money and influence Harvey has, she would fight until the end. Here's what she said about being separated from her only son. "Am I angry? Yes. I missed 6 years of my son's life, and I can't get those years back." And while the child is already a grown-up man, Mary Lee still hurts and refuses to stay silent. Her ex took away the most important thing, the joy of being a mother, and generously given it to his new wife, Marjorie, who enjoyed time with her son and even was posing on the photos where her baby boy kissed her like she was his real mom. Every mother would feel the tremendous amount of pain that Mary Lee has been experiencing all these years. She has been deeply traumatized by the entire situation and still hopes to punish her ex for stealing her son and giving the joy of motherhood to a complete stranger. Apparently, Winton had a happy life with his new family and didn't even care about his biological mama. Well, Mary Lee could never compete with Steve's extravagant vacations and expensive gifts, but she had that unconditional love deep inside her all these years, watching her son growing up under another woman's care. Well, it's just heartbreaking to witness such things, and no wonder why some people actually support Mary Lee in her desire to take revenge on her ex-husband. As one person wrote, "He did Mary so terrible. She never recovered emotionally from that trauma." And some people also blame Winton for choosing his father and neglecting his mom's needs. He wrote, "Shame on Winton for abandoning his mother. Steve is very trifling in this situation. He should allow his son to be with his mother rather than threatening to cut him off financially if he spends time with his mother. Really pathetic." Well, one thing is clear. Steve certainly had some influence over his son Winton, which turned the boy against his own mother. And I don't know whether it was money or something else, but Winton is still close with his dad, while the nature of his relationship with his mom remains in the darkness. And what do you reckon? Is Mary trying to hurt her ex Steve Harvey by her accusations because he had stolen their child from her? Or is there any truth in her statements? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other video about Steve Harvey. It seems like his current wife is no angel as well. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I promise to be back very celebrating new portion of gossip about your favorite celebrities.